Hello, let's learn Jean Piaget's theory of cognitive development. Imagine a situation whereby you're trying to explain something to a child, and even though it seems so obvious to you, the child just doesn't seem to understand. You become getting frustrated as they repeatedly make same mistake. Well, guess what? The child is not naughty. Neither they're not stupid. And their lack of understanding is not your fault either. This is a result of their cognitive development, which limits their ability to understand the way adults do. In this video we'll learn about Jean Piaget's theory, a famous psychologist whose ideas about cognitive development in children were extremely influential. His cognitive development theory argued that we must conquer 4 stages of cognitive development: first, sensorimotor stage; second, preoperational stage; third, concrete operational stage; and fourth, formal operational stage. And only then, when we completed all the 4 stages, we are able to reach full human intelligence. The sensorimotor stage. From birth to 2 years. The term sensorimotor comes from the child understanding their world largely through their senses for their first 2 years. This stage is characterized by the lack of language and internal presentation. It focuses on the reflexes that the child is born with, such as sucking, reaching and gasping. In this stage of development, the child eventually develops primary circular reactions, which are activities centered on the child's body and repetitious in nature. In the sensorimotor stage, an infant's mental cognitive attributes develop from birth until the appearance of languages. This stage is characterized by the progressive acquisition of object permanency, in which the child becomes able to find objects after they have been displaced or even after the object has been taken out of his/her vision. In addition to this characteristic is their ability to link numbers to objects such as 1 goat, 2 pigs. Evidence suggests that children at sensorimotor stage have some understanding on the concepts of numbers and counting. For example, teachers and parents can help children count their fingers, candies and toys. Stage. Ages 2 to 7. This stage is characterized by the inability to understand all the properties of classes. Egocentrism is also a characteristic of this stage. Egocentrism is the ability to take another person's point into account. One way to help children overcome egocentrism is to help them face another person's perspective by putting themselves in the other's shoes. One way to do this is by playing dress up and encourage the child to take on a character. Sometimes children in this age enjoy playing house. This is a good activity because they are playing different roles they have observed. Children need physical hands-on practice with facts and skills needed for development. Use cutout letters to build words. Avoid lessons that are very different from the child's world. And steer away from using textbooks or papers. Operational stage. Ages 7 to 11. In this stage, children evolve from logical, egocentric thinking to a more rule-regulated type of thinking. Some rule of logic includes reversibility, identity, and compensation. One activity that a child would enjoy is a cooking activity with their mom and dad. Give children the chance to manipulate objects and ideas. Do simple experiments, with participation of the students. Avoid dealing with more than 3 of 4 variables at a time. Reading selection should have a limited number of characters. Experiments should have a limit numbers of steps. Formal operational stage. Ages 12 and up. This period is characterized by applying their logic to real objects or situations. Teachers should continue using strategies and materials used in the concrete operations stage. Use charts and illustrations, as well as incorporate new, more sophisticated graphs and diagrams. Children in this stage should be encouraged to work in groups in school to explain and discuss hypothetical topics. Teachers should try to teach broad concept, rather than facts. Have student write a short story like "What would life be in outer space?" This allows them to apply their new creative aspect. Students should be encouraged to explain how to solve a problem. They could work in pairs. One is the listener. The problem solver works the problem out loud, while the listener checks if all steps are worked out. Critics of Piaget's theory. Development is more continuous than discrete stages as Piaget believed. It happens gradually over time and there are no specific stages that children really go through. Sample bias. Many point to the fact that Piaget based his work on a very small sample size that included his own children and their peers who were all from well-educated professionals of high socioeconomic status. Because of this, it is difficult to generalize his findings to a larger population. Underestimation of children's abilities. The theory is also criticized for allegedly underestimates how children learn. Researchers found that some children develop object permanence earlier than Piaget thought. Despite the criticism, Piaget's theory has stimulated other developmental psychologists into new areas of research and has heavily influenced research into education. Teaching methods enhanced a customized learning approach environment of support for school children. Furthermore, the theory of cognitive development provides a detailed account of the order in which children seem to develop. Piaget's work showed that teachers need to acknowledge this developmental process to produce high-functioning adults.
Hi, Grace and Dafa.
Hi, Auntie.
Let's look at some practical tests of
How old
Jean
are you,
Piaget's
Dafa?
theory, and thanks for watching.
And Grace?
8.
Okay. And you see those balloons?
Yes.
What color are they?
Green and orange.
Okay. Now which one is big?
These are green.
Okay. Now what happens if I take...
This one is small.
Okay. What happens if I take a pen and stick to it?
Will pop.
Okay.
And
Oh,
it's
sorry.
popping.
Okay, sorry. Okay, now I'm going to ask you about juice. Okay. Which grass it have more juice or they are the same?
They are equal.
Okay, they are equal. Okay, now I'm putting the juice here. Now which one have more?
The tallest one.
Okay.
Now is this one, Auntie.
Okay.
And then take away from Get up and look here.
Now you see